Shalom Israel. Once again, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Baal Shem Yahweh Shai, Baal Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000. Lord willing, this lesson be brief and edifying as possible to the sincere, hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, which you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. So, trying to catch up on current events and, make sense of everything that's going on, because there's so much that's going on. It's if with the apostles say, you miss a day, you miss a lot, right? And because there's multiple things, right? You got studying, you got camp, you got do your videos or whatnot. And so you if you spend too much time doing one thing, and that one thing is not keeping up with the current events, you hearing and you watching, but you're not really gaining understanding of everything that's going on. By the time you look at everything, do a diligent search, right, of everything that's going on, it's like it can be overwhelming. So I've been trying to catch up on current events because I've been spending time catching up on studies and things like that. Not making any excuses, but it led to me dropping this lesson, which I will entitle "The Tension is So Thick You Could Cut It with a Knife." And so I'm gonna go ahead first and report from the Guardian, and I'm gonna try to run through this I probably won't read the whole thing, but it says Trump administration. Trump says U.S. prices could go up, and he threatens new tariffs on trade partners. Donald Trump threatened to ramp up his economic assault on some of America's biggest trading partners on Thursday, vowing to impose new tariffs, which is like taxes, on countries that target products made in U.S. within weeks. The U.S. will impose reciprocal duties. The president announced, "We want," quote, it says, "we want a level playing field," he declared in the Oval Office, pledging to roll out a beautiful, simple system of new U.S. import duties that match those imposed by other countries. No new specific tariffs were announced, however, triggering a relief rally on Wall Street. Instead, Trump signed a presidential memorandum ordering the development of a comprehensive plan to address what the White House described as long-standing imbalances in the global economy, right? So the Lord got a big shaking up going on. The world is highly unstable right now. The economy is highly unstable. It says Americans could face some short-term disturbances if the U.S. imposes higher tariffs on foreign goods. Trump acknowledged prices could go up somewhat short-term, he said, but prices will also go down. What will go up is jobs, claimed Trump. The jobs will go up tremendously. The U.S. Commerce Department, now led by the billionaire Howard Lutnick, will conduct studies and report back to the president at the start of April. No exemptions will be offered from any reciprocal duties introduced under the new plan Trump suggested. It says, you can see this little map. Inflation picks up speed after Trump promised to rapidly bring down prices, right? And with inflation going up, the cost of living, the prices of everything, many things will continue to go up. It says you would need much more money to buy simple things. It says it is the latest bid by Trump to strain Washington's trade ties with countries across the world, allies and rivals alike, to obtain political and economic concessions. It says a press notice circulated by the Trump administration promised it would take action to put the American worker first, improve our competitiveness in every area of industry, reduce our trade deficit, and bolster our economic and national security. So this is all part of Trump looking to make America great again, because America has lost its respect and it's been taken advantage of. So reading on, right? It says U.S. officials pointed to a series of examples of tariffs and other trade barriers that they said demonstrated how other countries were not treating the U.S. fairly. They pointed to the European Union, the EU, 10% tariffs on cars alongside the 2.5% U.S. tariff on cars, and claimed that shellfish from 48 states cannot be exported to the EU, while the bloc can export all the shellfish it wants to America. So America is unhappy with not being able to make the money that they usually would make off of exporting shellfish. But other countries, it says can export all the shellfish it wants to America. So it says they also cited a 100% tariff imposed by India on U.S. motorcycles, while the U.S. only charges 2.4% and an 18% duty in Brazil on U.S. ethanol, while the U.S. charges 2.5%. Trump is due to meet Narendra Modi, the Indian Prime Minister, later on Thursday. Addressing reporters, he argued the EU was very nasty, adding they don't treat us right on trade. So there's tension, heavy tension between America and their allies, right? And when you read Revelation 17, it tells you how the beast will hate the whore, right? The beast being NATO and the EU, right? And the whore being America, which is known as Babylon the Great. And just like a whore, right? A whore is taken advantage of, is used, is used, and the whore makes financial gain off of being used. But in the case of America being a whore, with Trump being in office, he's saying, look, man, y'all been y'all been taking advantage of us. Y'all been having y'all way. Y'all been fucking us. Y'all been fucking us over, right? We're not benefiting financially how we supposed to. We're being taken advantage of. Basically, our gotta up the price to meet my worth. I'm better than this, basically. So the tension, we know that according to prophecy, the tension between America and his allies is going to cause America's allies to turn on America and help destroy it with thermonuclear missiles. So anyways, it says Trump is, I've read that part. It says, I'll read this part again. It says, he argued the EU was very nasty, adding, they don't treat us right on trade. And every time, just like last time Trump was in office, it was tension between the EU and America. Trump being in office makes the world, these global leaders, very uncomfortable, man. All right. It says he also suggested that the U.S. could hit the so-called BRICS alliance, which includes Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, with 100% tariffs if it sought to undermine the U.S. dollar. Right. And so, I'm not an expert in all of these things, but, I do know what's supposed to happen as far as prophecy, right? And what's supposed to happen is pursuing Ezekiel 38, right? And Isaiah 13, Russia being, the land of Gog and Magog, right? And the Medes, pursuing Isaiah 13, is ultimately going go into third world war against America, which is Babylon the Great. The whole resulting in America being totally obliterated with nuclear missiles. America's allies turning on America as well. Like I said earlier, Russia invading Israel, backing up multiple countries over there in the so-called Middle East, such as Iran, which is Persia, is Libya and Ethiopia. And so right, so this is the dominoes is lined up, right? The chessboard, all the pieces is in the right place, and it's just a matter of time before shit hit the fan, which somewhere in between now and the destruction, the micro CHIP has to be implemented, which is going to be a global thing. The mark of the beast, like this beast-like system. The technology used to use for all business transactions, replacing cash money, with a digital currency, which is going to be used with that micro CHIP technology. And so something has to happen where all the countries of the earth agree to using that micro CHIP technology, right? But as it stands, Trump is in the spirit of trying to make peace, trying to prevent nuclear destruction, trying to prevent World War III ultimately, and he's looking to even gain the respect of America back with all these threats of tariffs, taxing all these countries, Canada, Mexico, China, India, if I'm not mistaken, right? Threatening to it says he also suggested that the U.S. could hit the so-called BRICS alliance, which Russia is a major player in that. Russia and China is a major player in that alliance. But as it stands, right, Trump got the ceasefire deal going on, which may turn around if the hostages is not released by Hamas tomorrow. I think that's the deadline, if I'm not mistaken. Trump want, he got his sights on claiming Gaza, right, which has the world on edge, because they're saying that that's they said it's millions of Palestinians that will have to be moved, and I think you said Jordan and Egypt, if I'm not mistaken. It'd be like another mass deportation, and they basically saying that would be a war crime, So that is adding to the tension of things, right? And also it was a report I read. It said that Ukraine it was announced that Ukraine would not be joining NATO, and U.S. troops would not be sent, So these countries are worried about Trump siding with Putin and basically making things easier for Putin to get what he want as far as the war with Ukraine. So, I don't know exactly how things is gonna go, right? But I know what's supposed to happen, right? And what is looking like to me, just speaking as a man, is looking like Putin is using Trump to get what he want, and it's probably gonna be something that's gonna happen to where as though he gonna back out, he gonna trade on an agreement, he gonna not uphold his deal, his end of the bargain with a agreement that he make with Trump in America, because they also said that Israel may be looking to exploit the weakened defense of Iran, and they might very soon they might be the chances of Israel bombing, targeting nuclear facilities in Iran is very high. But according to prophecy, Russia, right, which Iran is ally to Russia, and so Russia is gonna have to do something. Russia is gonna have to will not be allowed to sit back and allow Israel, which is backed by America, they both one and the same, to take things but so far with Iran. So, like I said, the tension's so thick you could cut it with a knife. But reading on, it says Trump also called for Russia's return to the G7 group of industrialized nations, saying it had been a mistake for Moscow to be expelled, right? Because they want Russia to be under control. They want to be able to work out deals and ultimately have peace, or make it seem like they want peace, so that they could get closer, so that they could control Russia and the decisions that Putin is making. It says, which means what? That Russia is a major threat and is increasing to be more of a threat. It says Russia was suspended from the group then known as the G8 in 2014 following the annexation of Crimea, and announced its permanent withdrawal in 2017. It says, while the president and his allies believe that higher taxes on imports will help make America great again, they have also claimed the mere threat of higher tariffs from the world's largest economy can prompt nations to bend to Trump's will. It says Trump had trialed this announcement for days, at first promising news on Tuesday or Wednesday before claiming early on Thursday that he would announce reciprocal tariffs. The big one, he wrote on social media later in the day. In the event no specific new tariffs were announced, the administration has so far threatened more tariffs than it has introduced. Duties on Colombia were shelved when it agreed to accept military aircraft carrying deported immigrants. Duties on Canada and Mexico have been repeatedly delayed, which, threats of tariffs were made, but they were delayed, right? Because moves that Canada, Mexico, and Colombia had made. Duties on Canada and Mexico have been repeatedly delayed, and modified duties on steel and aluminum, announced earlier this week, will not be enforced until next month. And so this is another reason why not only is the American government and these other countries worried about how wild basically Trump is, the decisions that he's making. He's also losing respect because he's making a lot of threats, and he's not backing. He's not he's basically bending or bowing out to or reneging on certain threats, because of moves that these countries is making. So it says an additional 10% tariff on goods from China is, for now, the only threatened trade attack actually enforced since Trump returned to the White House on Friday. It emerged that a key component of this, removing the long-standing duty-free status of low-cost packages, had been delayed. So that's the only threat that has been that Trump has stood by, as far as with Trump's tariffs on China. It says Trump's fixation with tariffs has alarmed economists, who have warned their imposition may derail his repeated promises to rapidly bring down prices for millions of Americans. Inflation is already proving stubborn. In January, as Trump returned to office, it ticked up to an annualized rate of 3%. Egg prices have been soaring in recent months as many U.S. consumers continue to grapple with the elevated cost of living. Trump said he would not commission any studies into how his mooted tariffs could affect prices for Americans. There's nothing to study, he said. It's going to go well, right? Because what? These devils, they rule, one of their mottos is "Ordo op chaos," which is order out of chaos. So, uh, these decisions that Trump is making could possibly bring the famine of food and water, right? Also, the famine of the word, right? Jacob's trouble, right? The time of Jacob's trouble, civil unrest, civil wars, uproars of the people. That's how much tension is in the air. It says, and he says it, and in his mind, he says it's gonna go well because it's all a part of the plan. It's all a part of the plans of the elites, to fuck up the economy so that they can establish their new world order system. One world government, one world army, one world money system. It says asked whether the Trump administration's plan to align U.S. tariffs with those imposed by other countries risk raising prices for U.S. consumers. Lutnick, standing alongside the president, sought to shift responsibility onto other countries. If they drop their tariffs, prices for Americans are going down, he said. Trump has frequently highlighted the U.S.'s trade deficit with the world, the fact that the value of its imports greatly exceeds that of its exports as evidence of unfairness. Closed markets overseas reduce U.S. exports, while open markets at home result in significant imports, the White House notice said, arguing that this had undercut the U.S.'s ability to compete. So you can read the rest of this. Oh, that's the whole article. So like I said, I'm not an expert in these things, right? But I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this clip, right? Bernie Sanders, right? And you got, because you got, Elon Musk is continuously being in question, right? Trump is continuously being in question for his decisions that he making, setting up Elon Musk, and they asked Trump if do you trust Putin, and they're the people are questioning Trump's decision making, his authority. He's unstable, and due to his unstableness, the world, the planet is unstable. And things, it's just unpredictable what exactly is going to happen. But we know what's going to happen as far as prophecy. So let's check out what Bernie Sanders says.
Abolish the Department of Education?
No.
Hold on. Can the president abolish the Department of Education?
No. What is going on in this country, not only with education, but with other institutions, is the president is operating in a very authoritarian, illegal, and unconstitutional way. If they want changes in the Department of Education, they want to abolish the Department of Education, fine, come to Congress. That is the process. That is what our Constitution is about. We have three separate branches of government: the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. We are not, and cannot, and must not move to all power in one branch.
Can the president abolish the Department of Education?
I'm gonna grab two scriptures and I'm gonna close out. The first one being what is it? Okay, hold on. Let me grab it. phone. Salaki, give me 1 second. Okay. This is Matthew chapter 12, verse. It says, Matthew 12, verse 26, it says, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? All right. So Satan, against Satan is the nation of so-called white man against his own people. You know, the American government, right? The second leg of Rome, right, is not unified how they're supposed to be. You know, the government is not in agreement with the decisions that Trump is making. And altogether, the nation of the so-called white man, you know, because those Russians is Edomites as well. And that's how the Lord is going to destroy. Going to have the nation of the so-called white man be brought out of power, you know, by taking themselves out. By taking themselves out. And so, Salaki. Right? The Lord is going to have the nation of so-called white man, Esau, Edom, under the name of Americans, under the name of Russians, you know, go to World War III, and you know, take each other out, right? And Yahweh Shah, who the world who calls Jesus Christ, is going to come in the midst of World War III and put down all authority, put down all nations and kingdoms under his control, along with the 144,000 of the elect of the nation of Israel. This is Mark chapter 3, verse 23. It says, and he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And literally, the White House is against itself, like Bernie Sanders just said. You know, it's basically a protocol. It's the way that you're supposed to do things. It's 3 branches of government, and all decisions is not supposed to go through one branch of government, which is what Trump is being accused of doing. One more, and I'm gonna close out. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse. I'll start at 7. It says, Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. Right. So, to be drunken with the philosophies and beliefs of America, you know, these nations are mad, are pissed off, right? Because that, you know, they're used to things going one way. They're used to being able to benefit off of America, right? But everything is going to change, right? Everything is going to change, and like the scripture say, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee. You know, talking about the nation of the so-called white man, which has that disease of pride has spread to all these other nations, and these other nations feel obligated to certain benefits, you know, to certain rights. So it says, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain? If so be she may be healed. So America, which is Babylon the Great, is going to be destroyed. The decline of America is going to be rapid, be very fast, and things are moving very, very fast. And it's going to only speed up. Verse 9, it says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up into the skies. Right? So ultimately, America is not going to become great again, because it's, you know, its expiration date is closing in. You know, the end of Esau Edom's rulership, right? That the sins and wickedness of the nation of so-called white man is reaching the boiling point. It's reaching its limit, you know, and that's when the Lord is going to bring about their destruction. So since it's the will of the Heavenly Father to destroy this place, because their sins and wickedness have reached its boiling point, there is no turning back. There is no healing this place. It says, verse so it says, verse 9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed, right? No matter what Trump or any of these countries that come together, right, and make plans to do, it's not going to work. It says, forsake her. And that's what these nations is going to wind up doing. They're going to be like, man, fuck this bitch. It says, and let us go everyone into his own country. They're going to stop dealing with America, right? They're not going to care about, and BRICS being set up. You know, you can see that happening. You know, these countries are withdrawing from America being the American dollar being the primary tool used for trade. It says, and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up into the skies. Verse 10, the Lord hath brought forth our righteousness, right, of the elect, the 144,000. The 1/3 beginning with the 144,000. The kingdom of heaven, right, is at hand. It says, come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord, our power. And that's what the men of the Lord are doing week in and week out, right? Every day putting out videos and prophesying against this place. Verse 11, it says, make bright the arrows, which is the nuclear missiles, gather the shields. The Lord have raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, which is the Russians, for his device against Babylon, which is America, to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. So I ended with that. You know, Lord willing, this is edifying. You know, so again, right, like I said, the title, the tension is so thick you can cut it with a knife. So call law Yahweh Hashem Al Shai by Hashem Kakwadash, double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Citation to the hopeful elect, beginning with the 100.